Good morning, web people. Today I want to talk to you about creating websites with clean URLs, such as what you'd see here. Um, as you can see, there's no file extensions .html or .php, or whatever they may be. Just nice, clean URLs that the browsers love. Okay. But before I go too far, I would like to give props where props are due. And let me see. Okay. This video basically is my rendition. I've taken and simplified stuff that I've learned here over at Packet Code. These guys are brilliant geniuses. I highly suggest checking out this video on MVC Framework. You'll notice the similarities. Basically, what I've come up with is just very cut down version of this framework I learned over here at Packet Code. Again, gotta give credit where credit is due. These guys are awesome. Check them out. All right, so back to business. Creating a website with clean URLs. What we have here is basically an empty root directory. So we're starting off same place. Set up a root directory now. Okay. Within the root directory, we're going to need a couple inner directories here. So we're going to create an app directory. Inside of app, we're going to create a controllers directory. Should be controller in my case. The video over there at Packet Code, he creates an application that can support multiple controllers. Now I've simplified it down to a single controller. In my experience, that's been, all that I need, and you can build some pretty amazing things. So moving on, back to the root directory of our example site here, we are also going to need a lib. Let's go ahead, we'll create one more, and we'll call this pages. Okay, and now I'm using Dreamweaver here as my text editor. You can use whatever you want, any text editor you want. Okay, the first thing we need to do is create an htaccess file, and just paste in the code there. Basically what this does is it tells the Apache servers how to handle your website when people come to it. Alright then, so up top here, this line is turning the rewrite engine on. And these next two directives are rewrite conditions, telling the server not to open any directories or files. And finally, we have the rewrite rule, which is routing everything back to index.php, and it's creating a URL variable called URL. So what we're going to do here is save this as .htaccess, and this is basically the brain behind the little application. It's laying down the groundwork for our application, telling the server how to handle what we're about to create. So moving on, let's create our index.php, and index.php is just going to contain, sorry I can't type today, just basic HTML tags. So HTML, closing HTML, let's open our head tag, close our head tag, add a title. This is example tutorial. Close our title and moving down. Can't forget the body. Alright. Okay, so we're going to save this again as index.php and save it in the root directory of our application. So there. And next up, we are going to create map.php, and that is going to live in the library or lib directory. So let's save this in library as map.php. Now, I'll come back and go over this stuff with you in a moment. We've got one more file to create. How easy was that? This last one is going to be root.php. So let's open our PHP and close PHP tags. We'll create a class called root. Open curly brace, close curly brace. Create a function called main. Open curly, close curly. And next we're going to create a function about open curly, close curly. And in each of these we're just going to echo back this is about. And in main we're going to echo back this is main. And save this in app controllers as root.php. Okay, and one last little tidbit. In our index file, we need to initiate everything here. So what this is doing here, save that, it's requiring the library map.php file. It's calling the map class, and it's calling the router function within the map class. If we come over here, this is a map class. This is the router function within the map class, and it's checking to see if the URL is set, or if the URL parameter is set, rather. And if it is set, it's going to try and match to one of the functions within root.php. If it doesn't find a match, or if it's not set, it's going to default to the root main function. So let's go to our browser and see what's happening here and refresh. So as you can see, it's defaulted to the main function, which we set in our root. This is main. Let's go back, and that's what it's serving up. If we type in a URL, add to the URL, let's type in about, it's going to go to the about page or serve up the about function. Now, I know this is pretty simplistic, and echoing back a little line of text is not too exciting. However, check this out. Now you can really create some amazing stuff. So let's include pages, home.php, which we need to create momentarily, and pages about.php. And you can really get a sense of how powerful this can be. So this is our new page for our site. And again, we're going to save this under pages as home.php. We're going to create one more, and this one will be, this is our about page. Find out more about us. And you guessed it, this is about.php. If we check back with the browser, let's see how things have changed. Boom. Check that out. Now, this is the home page. Now, I bet you're wondering, what if someone types in something that is not a part of the root? So let's see, how about pizza? It's gonna default to the home page. So if it doesn't find a match, it's gonna default to the home page. Or if type in about, and they're now on the about page, and they continue about me. Now, nothing happens. It stays on the about page because the first element of the URL array is directing it to the about function, and it doesn't have anything telling it what to do with this second URL parameter. And let me just kind of give you a sense of what's happening here. Let's dump URL. This kind of will give you a visual representation of what's happening with the URL string. The first element in the array, about, is going to the root class, and it's finding that about function, and it's serving up the about page. Now, again, like I mentioned before, there's nothing right now telling it what to do with a second URL parameter. However, we can change that quite easily. Now, you probably want to try and keep your, PHP code separated from your page output, as much as possible. But, for example's sake, let's give this a whirl. What the hell, huh? So I'm gonna just copy this to save us from having to type it. Move it on over. Close that. And then we'll do if URL does not equal blank. And let's create a variable up here. HTML. HTML equals something more. And that could be a database call or anything you can dream up here, but let's just show you that now it's going to echo back something more. Now, if this second parameter did not exist, what happened here? Unidentified offset 1, line 8. Okay, so let's do this. I probably should have done is set and try that on for size. Browser. There we go. Perfect. Alright, now let's get rid of this var dump. We don't need that anymore. Well, one more. So we'll show get about me. I'm Bernie. You can see how each piece of the URL is becoming an element in the URL array, and you can use these to trigger different type of effects and different database calls and really make your pages dynamic. So let's go back here and get rid of that. We don't want that. Boom. All right then. I was gonna show you here. And we could do something more about. Let's do this. About who? Something more about me. Okay, let's just change that up. Something more about Bernie. How about that? Booyah. That's about it, though. You can notice here, you've got nice clean URLs, no extensions. Not only that, but it adds a layer of security through obscurity. Because if you look here, our pages are actually in a directory called pages and about.php and home.php. Nothing in this URL, if someone puts about.php, that file does not exist. It's in another directory. Maybe if they got lucky, they might guess pages about.php, but chances are that's not happening. And who says that directory has to be called pages? The directory could be called supercalifragilisticexpialidocious if you want. I'm not typing that in, but if you want to, go ahead. So it does add a bit of security through obscurity. That's it. All right. Thanks for watching. Take care.